Hello, hello. My name is Jake Ray. I am a regression hypnotist as well as a level 2 qhht practitioner, and I use hypnosis in my practice to help my clients in a variety of ways, including exploring past lives, recently getting into exploring future lives, and really helping my clients in the best way that I can to find healing, find answers, find understanding, and much, much more. And one of my favorite things about this work is how unpredictable it is and how unique each session is. So I wanted to take you through a session experience today where my client regressed into the current life and even slipped into the future briefly. This was in a session from a while ago, and one of the sessions that really got me interested in future life progression, which I'll be offering soon. So keep an eye out for that announcement. But today I wanted to take you through that client's experience and what that meant for that client, and kind of what the message is, I think, for the collective as well. So before we get into that, please let me know down in the comments below if you'd be interested in exploring the future and how you would use that insight, and what you would do with that opportunity. Let me know down in the comments. And of course, if you'd like to know more about my practice, please feel free to check out my website, linked in the description box as well. Otherwise, let's get into it. So, oftentimes with regression, we're exploring the past, we're exploring past lives. So, it's always interesting when something other than past lives comes through in a regression session. And especially as I've started to explore the future more, and more deliberately through future life progression, it's so interesting to look at these possible timelines, these possible futures, and I think that that's a really important thing to note before we get into discussing looking into the future, etc. Is that this isn't deterministic. It's not about the future already being written. It's about what possible timelines might exist. And of course, you still have free will as you're living your life. And so whenever I have a client that sees the future, this is, of course, just a possibility. And I think it's important to note that the choices that we make, and even the fact of seeing that future, might change that future. So nothing's set in stone. We are still co-creators of our reality and still maintain our free will. But there's always a reason for something coming through in a session. And as you'll hear today, my client Kelsey was shown this possible future for a reason too. Didn't start in the future though. There was some current life review that happened during this session, and we'll get into those details. But I wanted to start out today by playing you that a short clip of the moment when we both realized that she had slipped into the future. A note on that too, it kind of starts mid-sentence, and the reason for that is I wanted to make sure that my client's partner's name and her daughter's name were not on this recording, just for her privacy. I also want to, of course, thank all of my generous clients for allowing me to discuss their sessions and share these insights with you, with the collective, because I think it's so powerful. All right, let me play you that clip, and then we will continue talking.
Their laughs. Growing old with them. Being happier as a family.
How does that feel?
Amazing.
All right, so first thing, definitely an emotional session. There was a lot of tears throughout the experience for my client, and it was very clear by the end that she really needed to release all of that. She needed to experience those emotions to be able to move past them. And you'll be happy to know that she was very happy on the other side of this session. But it does make some of her sentences a little hard to hear at times. But like I said before, she had mentioned her partner and her daughter. And as you heard in the clip, she heard them laughing. She saw herself growing old with them and really being happier as a family. The last thing she said was that she felt really amazing being able to see that. So it's really interesting that brief slip into the future and had a really profound impact on her. So before we get into the purpose of that and why my client experienced this unique session, I wanted to fill in the rest of the story and give you the full picture of what this experience was, and why it was so important and so profound. So her first scene that she was shown was from her current life. It was from the past. It was early on in her relationship with her partner. Anytime that someone is shown their current life, there's definitely something unresolved there. There's something that either a message that wasn't received or understood fully. There might be something that needs releasing or integrating. There's, a variety of reasons why someone might explore their current life, and it's always a powerful experience for sure. So, back to the story. Kelsey was revisiting this tropical vacation that she went on with her partner, and feeling those strong emotions, the happiness and peace of the moment, but also there was a sadness because she. On viewing this scene, on reflecting on this memory, she realized that she hasn't felt that way in a long time. There was a disconnect between her present. The picture of why she was being shown scenes from her current life was starting to take shape. There was definitely some relationship stuff that was coming to the forefront. The next scene that she was shown was another moment from her present life, and she was seeing the first moments of her partner messaging her. So she was revisiting this moment of their first connection and really feeling that excitement and reflecting on how natural it felt, how natural their relationship felt, how much love there was, and really how refreshing that interaction and that connection was from her previous relationships before this partner. She then was shown her pregnancy and the early days of motherhood, and kind of the challenges that her and her partner faced, but also the different people who supported them throughout this period, and was reflecting on those relationships and how many of them have changed. Many of those people are no longer in her life for a variety of reasons. And she was really, really reflecting on and reviewing her current challenges and difficulties with life. All in all, the session was starting to shape into a review almost of her life up until this point. There was just so much reflection and so much review of what had come up till this point, and how she was feeling in the present as well. As I was starting to realize this kind of review, this theme of review, the next scene that she was shown was a pretty tough scene of her withdrawal from alcohol, because she had recently quit and was revisiting this moment. So I did want to play a bit of a clip from that scene, from that experience, and then we'll keep discussing.
I'm in my room going through withdrawals. And I called it my death hole when I was sick. And just being in there for 4 days sick and withdrawing. It was like opening up a library in my head of just everything coming to me. And it's good and bad and scary, and it just all hit in that one, like those 4 days. Just being in that hole. It made me just realize way more of what I want. And to never feel like that again. Or to never want to feel like that again. It just felt like death. And that was scary.
Okay, so as you just heard, a really challenging moment, and yet this challenging moment was a catalyst for her. It was a very recent memory, so I thought it was really interesting that it came up again and that she was shown this. So I asked her, what else she was experiencing in this moment. And so let me play that response quickly.
Pain. It's one of the worst pain other than childbirth. I thought my body was literally going to shut down on me. As weird as it is, though, I like remembering some of it because I don't ever want to do that again.
So, as you heard, this was a memory that she wanted to keep and that she wanted to feel at least part of it, because of that reminder that it gave her not to go back, not to put herself in that situation again. She wanted to be happy and to not feel that pain again. She didn't want to hurt her body like that again. Next, she went on to describe the moment that she broke through the worst of that experience, this 4 days. And the moment that she went outside with her daughter, she felt the sun, she laughed with her, and really it felt like that release of tension, that kind of beam of sun cutting through the darkness. And it really was a transformational moment for her. The next scene that she was given a glimpse at was a time during, both during and after the civil unrest and the upheaval that most of us who live in Minneapolis, Minnesota experienced a while back. And for my client, she was really reviewing the effects that it had on both her life and on her business. It was just interesting to see her reviewing the positive alongside of the negative and the ways that this period of time dramatically altered her life. It was at this point that she slipped into the future, and she described seeing those glimpses of the future life that could be, like we heard in that first clip that I shared with you. And it was just glimpses. And so I was really curious to speak to Kelsey's higher self, to her subconscious, and to ask for their take on why they were showing this to her. Because I had my guesses. Like I said, I had realized that this seemed to be kind of a review of her life up until this point, but I wanted to hear it in their words, and it's always so powerful when that message comes through. So let me play that for you.
So she remember the bad things to get to the good.
And she could just experience those again.
Yeah.
And I know that you had shown her that vacation moment where she was at peace and she was happy. Why did you show her that this time?
I didn't want to be that way. I can. And it can.
Is there anything more that she needs to know about that future that she saw that she's really excited to build?
A new home and life for everyone, including herself. Not being stuck in the same routine. Just keep going. And if you're not happy, don't stay there. So after that, they went on to give her some personal guidance for how she could build that future. So I've said the term life review a few times. In my experience and the experience of other hypnotists out there, at the end of someone's life, there is this moment of reviewing that life on the spirit side. And there's variety of ways of how people experience that and what that looks like for souls. But what was so interesting about this session was that it felt like that. It felt like that life review, except that she hadn't died physically yet in this lifetime. But what I noticed while I was pulling this session together was how she had experienced the death of her old self very recently. You know, she had just quit alcohol and had decided to change her life in a very dramatic way, and that it was almost like that was the catalyst for this, you know, this pseudo life review while she was still here. It was like she was given this chance to reflect on, really look at closely so that she could build a new, different future for herself and for her family. And
it really was apparent that her higher self wanted her to recognize the agency that she had in creating that new future, that they wanted her to choose the life that she wants, and showing her this review so that she could move from those darker periods, from those darker moments into the light. Sometimes the solution to our problems, or the source of our challenges in our present lifetime, don't come from past lives. It's sometimes the simpler solution of the current lifetime that is really the source of that problem, or that challenge that you might be facing. And this is, a perfect example of how exploring the current life through hypnosis can be so powerful. So, like I said a bit ago, this was a really emotional session for Kelsey, and she felt a lot of strong emotions throughout this experience. I think it's important to address this fact because a lot of people can be apprehensive or even fearful around the emotions that might come up in a regression session, whether that be exploring the current life or past lives. Sometimes regression gets a bad rap because it can be emotional. It can be challenging to engage with trauma in this way, to delve into these difficult moments from the past. But I don't think that the fact that it's challenging, I don't think that that means that we shouldn't. There's value in whatever comes up in a session like this. I've found with all of my clients that they're never shown anything that they can't handle. And your higher self, your subconscious, can be creative in the ways that it gives you information. It's not always about seeing or re-experiencing. Sometimes you have that sense of knowing. All in all, I think that just like my client Kelsey, sometimes to build the future that we want, to step into something new, there needs to be that review of the old. We need to review and release the old patterns, the old ways of doing things. I think that is one of the coolest things about exploring the future through hypnosis, is that you can get a glimpse into those future timelines, those future possibilities, and use that knowledge, use that experience to change your present, to fast track that future, to really lean into that change and that new, and I think it can just be so powerful. We're all shifting and changing throughout our lifetime, throughout our lifetimes. There are, those periods of darkness, those periods of challenge, as well as those periods of joy and happiness, and all those lighter emotions. But I think that we really need to acknowledge and integrate our past, both in this lifetime and others, to be able to move into a new and more positive future. If we don't face those darker moments, those moments when we felt the lowest, they're going to stick with us. They're going to stay with us until we deal with them. And I think that that's what is so powerful about working in this way. Like I said, you can fast track this healing. You can fast track the future that you want. You can fast track that change by reviewing the past. Just like Kelsey did, you don't have to wait until the end of your physical lifetime to do this review. I think that that's why the tool of hypnosis is so powerful. So all in all, if you are also interested in experiencing hypnosis, whether that's exploring the past or the future, please reach out to me. I'd love to plan a session of your own to help you in the very best way that I can. I'll be releasing some more information around my future life progression sessions soon. So keep an eye out for that. And definitely keep an eye on my website as well, because I am in the process of reworking that to present my new offerings. So along those lines too, I am beginning to offer remote sessions as well as in-person sessions. So even if you're not local, if you're interested in a session, let me know, and I really would love to guide you through a session. A note on that, though, is that those remote sessions are not qhht. Qhht is strictly in person, but they are inspired by my learnings in qhht, my learnings in other techniques to help you, the client. So, and I have had truly amazing results from both remote and in-person sessions. So let me know if you are interested in learning more, or if you want to do a free consultation to discuss that. I would be very happy to. If you like this content, if you like the story today, please hit that like button. It really does help. Make sure you subscribe to the channel as well so you don't miss future videos. All right, all of the love and the light to you, and bye for now.